we have to do it every time. Any changes to the starting lineup tonight?
No. Brad, can you just talk about, do you have to keep your younger players like cool for Game 7? Do you have to be concerned that they try to do too much under the pressure of a Game 7?
The only time anybody ever has really brought it up is when they've talked to the media. So I don't know that we're very focused on what we have to do our job well on both sides of the ball. That's what we talk about. And then you talk about doing it with great spirit and togetherness. So, you know, the experience thing is the experience thing, whatever. You know, I think there's a power in being naive too. And just do what you're supposed to do and do it as hard as you can and as well as you can and let the chips fall where they may.
Coach, they've flattened you out quite a bit in the last few games. How important is it that you do a better job or find a way to get to the basket more than you have?
And what do you mean by flatten?
Just as far as kept you from getting to the basket. Like your shots at the rim have gone down quite a bit the last few games.
Well, our shots at the rim went down because they blocked so many. 27 blocks in 2 games at Milwaukee. And so I thought that we attacked it way better in Game 5 and we missed some open shots. And then in Game 6, I thought that we did a pretty good job of attacking it and then actually did get to the rim and got some looks at the rim again towards the end of the game. So you have to play the game. There's a right play to be made on every play. And, you know, it's not because we're not trying to get into the teeth of the defense. But they're doing a good job. They've got good, long, athletic players. Obviously, Maker has played great in this series and given them kind of another dimension since he started playing. And that was you know, that's something that we've had to adjust to after Game 3 and 4.
Coach, just sticking with Shimmy in the starting lineup, what's been your assessment of how he's played since that first start, and why do you have the confidence to keep going to him when he's not as much of an offensive threat on the court? He's so focused on D.
I think obviously he's a spacer. He's going to have to, you know, take and make open shots. But he plays really hard, and you know, if you look at any of the numbers or just watch, I mean, it's pretty clear that he's our best guy guarding Giannis. Doesn't mean that at the end of the day that you know, that you can still keep him from getting every shot. But as far as getting to the basket, keeping a guy in front, making him take as tough a possible ones, he's done a good job of that. But we'll have other guys that rotate on him. You know, he'll play the first few minutes of the game, and we'll see how it works and go from there.
Brad, Daniel posted videos yesterday saying he's walking for the first time without crutches. Do you have a sense what the next few weeks or even months will be like for him? And have you spoken to him at all about how he's feeling? How he's doing?
He was there today. Saw him walking yesterday. Saw him walking today. You know, we celebrate all those things around our office this year. So it's it was great. I mean, he's been around every day, so I've seen him every day. But then it was great to see him. He was excited about getting off those crutches and being able to move a little bit more. He's got a long way to go before, you know, he's able to get back on the court, really doing, you know, hard cutting and those types of things. I don't want to put a timeline on him, but my understanding was that he wouldn't be cleared for full physical activity till mid-July or somewhere around that area.
Coach, do you go back to last year's Game 7 versus Washington and try to compare or try to take things from what you learned in that game and try to, you know, see what you can do in this one?
Not really. 2 different teams. They play totally different. You know, I think that offensively and defensively, Milwaukee just plays different than Washington did. So, again, the Game 7 thing's the Game 7 thing, but it's, you know, this is the Game 7 or Game 11 or 12 or whatever it is against Milwaukee. And so, like, that's the way that we have to look at it. And it's going to boil down to, you know, like the other day, they scored 40% of their points in transition. If that happens again, you know, we're probably in trouble. But I think ultimately there's things we need to do well to have a chance to win. We know that. See what happens.
Coach Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. What is the balance in a playoff series of attacking a player when he has a certain amount of fouls during the first or second half versus running quality offense and not necessarily seeking out trying to up that foul total?
Well, I think that can go both ways on you depending on who the player is, who they're guarding, and everything else. So I think you want to run quality offense every time down the floor, and if there's an opportunity to attack somebody that's going to be more passive defensively, you certainly would do that. But that really, one of the things I think both these teams have done is they've played hard, they've played aggressive defense all the way through.
Brad, how do you think your bench has played, and how important is managing minutes, or if it is any different in a Game 7?
Well, I think obviously everybody's had their moments. We knew coming in that we were thinner. That's pretty obvious, but I think everybody has done a good job. It's why we've kept Marcus Morris there, so that we have more scoring off the bench, and it certainly helps to add Marcus Smart to that mix. So, I think that that's something that's really important. But there's no doubt that the guys that the guys that you think will be most impactful will play the most.